What was it about the movie that really connected with you?
Wow. You know, it was emotional. I think it was an emotional experience for me. First, with the heart of compassion that I'm always trying to exercise more of, and in identifying, well, not that I could identify, but knowing what you went through, watching what you went through, watching your father commit suicide. And you made a statement in there that impacted my life deeply and changed my life, to have a better understanding of potentially what could have happened to me and the hundreds of other guys that I've coached and people that I've helped. And that was, if your father didn't feel that you were worth hanging around or being with, then why would anybody else have value for you? And man, it almost brings tears to my eyes just thinking about it now. And I think this began an internal search of introspection for my own life. And sure enough, it did.
So tell me, like, in the story and kind of how we connected, what made you reach out to me?
Well, after I saw the documentary, I wept. I cried with my wife, and I said, I cannot believe how deep this is hitting me. I said, here, my father left home, when I was a teenager, maybe early 20s, can't really put the finger on it now, but I remember, the day he left, and my sister was just horrified by the experience because she was home alone. And coming back home to a house that didn't have a father, I didn't know how to process it. So I stifled it and I hid it within me. And what the documentary did for me was to understand that this wasn't a stifling, this was a wound, that I had taken a blow. And forgive me, because I can feel even myself healing today. That's why I'm so emotional at the fact that I didn't realize just what an impact it made on my life some 30 years ago, 25 years ago, and so it gave me something to attach a wound to. Does that make sense? As you call
Absolutely.
it, the father's wound. And I didn't know that I had one.
So you had a name for it, right? You were able
Yeah.
to put a name on it and then therefore be able to deal with it.
That's right. That's right. And I think through the years, I've always advocated, if you can't identify the root, you can't change the fruit. And there were some areas in my life where I really wanted to change. I mean, I had addiction issues growing up. I had excessive use of alcohol. I experimented heavily with drugs. And that was in that period where it actually got worse. After receiving Christ in my heart, that created a tremendous element of peace and healing and freedom. But that scar was still there because I kept putting it off. So this documentary absolutely changed my life. And I'm not using those words lightly, John. I mean, it really showed me that I needed to deal with the father's wound. I needed to deal with it in my behaviors. It changed the trajectory in which I talk to my wife, the way that I talk about other people, the way that I deal with anger, my observation of my children. My sensitivity levels have grown. And to be very honest with our viewers and with myself, I had to be, is that this almost continued on into my own marriage, where I was at a junction personally where I could have abandoned my own family the way my father abandoned me. And I was so grateful to God for your documentary coming at the right time, because it allowed me to put on the brakes, get a reality check here and say, hey, maybe it's not entirely your fault. Maybe there's something deeper here. But if you don't take care of it, it will become your fault.